Hey everyone, welcome to the beautiful Barber Motorsports Park. Today we are here for the Barber Small Bore event hosted by Man in the Box. We are here with Honda and the 2025 Grom, a very lightly updated version of what is actually Honda's most successful street bike. Believe it or not, yes, they sell more Groms than any other street bike in their lineup. How cool is that? Now, this bike for 2025, again, it's very lightly updated. It's got an all-new look, new body panels and things like that, but the hardware underneath is all the same. It's what we've come to know from this Grom platform. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw our helmets on and go for a little bit of a ride, talk a little bit about the bike, about this experience, and what makes mini motos so much fun. If you are interested in mini motos at all, stick around because we're going to tell you what makes this such a blast. Let's do this.
All right, folks, here we are, ready to go for a ride. 2025 Honda Grom. It's a little bit wet and rainy, but that ain't gonna stop us from having a good time. Everyone else is still enjoying the mini motos, and yeah, this is it is what it is. We can have fun at any time on a Grom. So, as I mentioned, not a lot to talk about in terms of, technical updates. Really, actually nothing to talk about in terms of technical updates. This is a carryover engine and chassis. No new hardware for 2025. If you remember, the 2022 Honda Grom was updated. They got a 5-speed transmission, so that's cool to have here. As you can see, I'm already in top gear. It gives this bike a little bit more flexibility, feel a little bit better at top speed, higher pace, higher speed roads. Other than that, this bike, the discussion points, all the talking points are about the new bodywork, the new body panels for 2025. It's interesting because at first, I'll admit, I was a little frustrated to not see any technical updates for the new model year. We're out here to ride the bike. I was like, oh, it'd be nice to see, maybe some upgrades somewhere. But Honda made some really good points. The big thing being that this bike is all about style, and I almost forgot that for a little bit. I forgot that this bike is just so much about the look and feel and just having fun, right? And what Honda said, which I thought was very interesting, was that what they want to do is give people options. So maybe if you didn't like the new look, there was a really bold new look for 2022. Maybe if you weren't a big fan of that, then you've got something like here where it's a little bit different. Same thing if you're not a fan of this new look, you're like, well, hey, I'll go back to what was the 2022 to 2024 model and go that direction because, yeah, all the body panels were quite a bit different. Again, you've got all these new shrouds here around the fuel tank. All the headlight shroud is different. I think the only thing on the list that didn't mention that it was different was like the tail section, I guess we'll call it. Basically just a little shroud over the tail light. So that is a very quick run through of your updates for 2025. I will say that in 2022, with the new design that they had there, one of the big talking points was about easy customization. I think Honda really leaned into that for that model year, and recognizing that is such a big part of the Grom culture is being able to customize the bike and make it your own. And I think that's why so many people gravitate towards these bikes. It's inexpensive, and then it's also inexpensive to make it your own and build something that you like, right? We are out at Small Bore, Barber Small Bore, and someone made a good point that there's almost zero stock motorcycles there. I mean, you've got everything from mild to wild. Maybe people have got just a shock or a couple little small accessories on it, but almost zero bone stock motorcycles. And I think that says a lot about the scene and what these bikes are to people, where it's this kind of tool for expressing themselves outside of just being able to get out and ride with friends and have inexpensive transportation, things like that. Things that Honda is doing new for this year, they've got 3 collections, accessory collections is what they call them. So there's a Hyper, Adventure, and a SCAD collection, which is basically just a handful of accessories that are packaged as a kit that are supposed to be available through dealers that give the Grom a little bit of a unique look. I'm not going to try to remember what's in each of those kits. Obviously the Adventure, let's give you an example. The Adventure has like hand guards, carrier racks, I believe, things like that, that again just kind of shape the look and feel of the motorcycle. So that's something new for this year. It's kind of interesting because Honda has never really leaned into the accessory side on their end. They've always kind of let the aftermarket companies kind of take the reins there. You've got companies like the company that's hosting Barber Small Bore, which is the event that we're at again, Man in the Box, you know, companies like that, companies like Steady Garage, and the countless other companies that make parts and accessories, anything from carbon fiber wheels to all the suspension companies that are making shocks and forks and things like that. And they've kind of let that grow and never really had an expansive accessories options, never had expansive accessory options through Honda. If I didn't mention it yet, which I don't think I have, the Grom, the 2025, is available in 3 flavors. You've got the standard Grom, you've got a Grom SP, and you've got the Grom ABS. The SP is the one thing that I've already seen some people comment on that they are absolutely loving, as it's got a little belly pan, and so that comes stock on the SP model. It will also be available as an accessory, which you can purchase and mount up to a standard Grom or the ABS model. Now, pricing, the standard model is going to start at $3,600. The SP is going to go for $3,700, and the ABS is $3,800. So that is pricing. On availability is basically now. It was June. June is when they're supposed to hit dealers. I think one of the things that affords Honda to sell so many of these things, so many of their mini motos, is that they're super flexible. I mean, there's so many things to so many different people. Maybe for some people it's something that they put on the back of their RV and they go use it as a little campground jumper, right? And just cruise around the campground or run over to the store when they need something. For other people, it's they go mini moto racing, right? So they go road racing, which we actually did get to do. Maybe we'll get to drop a clip in here. We actually got to Honda race prepped some of these 2025 Groms, and we actually got to ride them on the little kart track at Barber Motorsports Park, and that was a lot of fun. Actually, let me talk more about that because it was super unique. Actually, it was a 3-hour endurance race that we got to do. The bikes had basically clip-on handlebars. They had cartridge kits in the front fork. They had adjustable Oline shock out back. It had some kind of grippier Kenda tires on it. And yeah, it was just and rear sets actually. So yeah, that was really cool. It was a way for Honda to kind of show one of the ways that people are using Groms. And I don't know, maybe that's not for you, but I will say that everyone that participated in that was just laughing and having an absolute blast the entire time, and that was really cool to see. To help understand, if you haven't got to experience Grom before, or mini moto as a whole, is what it's about is just smiles and fun, and yeah, there's other things. It's great transportation, and we can make arguments for that. It's affordable transportation, but it's really just about the look and the feel and the enjoyment of it, and I think it's best enjoyed with friends. Now, getting back to the motorcycle itself, this Grom here, a couple of things. Again, it's the same riding position and ergonomics and all that that essentially has been the case since about 2017. Now in since 2022, I believe. At one point, and the reason I'm confused, I guess, in the years, they did an update in 2017. One of the updates that they did, they went to like a stepped seat, so it was a little bit higher in the back. They said something like it was going to help passengers sit up above the rider. I think they quickly realized that you don't get too many passengers on Groms, and it kind of locked you in place. they went back to a flat seat, and that is stuck. I'm 6'3". I fit on the bike incredibly well. It's a small bike, yes, but it's super accommodating for a wide range of riders. So yeah, no issues if you're like, there's no way I'm gonna fit on that. It's not the case. I almost guarantee that you will. One of the nice things I've noticed is that these little side cutouts here in the tank, those little pockets, actually, yeah, fit pretty well with my knees right there. So that's good. Nice relaxed bend in my arms, a little comfortable, just comfortable, natural, neutral seating position. So no real issues from that. And yeah, not a lot in terms of, like I said, performance. It's a Honda, so you feel some quality in all of the touch points. You know, it's got traditional Honda switchgear, and all the levers are tight and nice. It's a quality machine. It's yeah, I think it's well built, and it's a Honda, and I think they've proven to be dead reliable. The one thing I did want to mention that I'm going to call a negative is the display. No, it's not a negative in that it doesn't work well or anything like that. I would love to see like a little TFT on this thing. We've seen other manufacturers be able to do that on inexpensive small displacement machines, and I think we're to a point where you can do that, where manufacturers should be able to introduce that stuff for relatively cheap. I think that would be a really cool feature. It would be a really cool upgrade, and it would help set apart any of the new models versus the previous generation Groms. I would love to see a little TFT display, and heck, while they're at it, make some like phone connectivity or something. I don't know. I know that's always a hot topic because people are like, I don't want to be on my phone when I'm riding. But yeah, I think just building some tech into this thing, I think Honda should be able to do that for relatively reasonable amount and not totally up the price of the bike. So if Honda's listening, would love to see that in the near future. Maybe some like, you know, upgraded turn signals and things like that. Just those are some of the things that I would like to see Honda do. But other than that, I think, again, they're going to leave so much of it up to people to customize the bike and accessorize it and build it to their own. Yeah, okay, we'll talk about things like brakes and transmission and whatnot. It's again, that's not the big talking points for a bike like this, but just so you're aware, I mean, the brakes are plenty firm enough to get the thing slowed down. Well, you're not going too fast in the first place, but yeah, it's the brakes are good, solid. Transmission actually is really smooth, no clunkiness or getting into false neutrals or things like that. Seat's pretty comfortable. The seat's wide, actually. The seat's not like really narrow, so it's very supportive and nice. So happy about that. 1.6 gallon fuel tank, so you've got yeah, plenty of range. I mean, it gets exceptional fuel mileage. I'm sorry I don't actually have the fuel mileage. It would probably take me quite a while to burn through an entire tank here, but yeah, 1.6 gallon tank, and yeah, really good fuel range. So top speed, you probably do want to know that. We did get to do a little bit of a ride earlier. I got to do a ride with some buddies. We were able to get kind of tucked in and do a ride, and got up to, when I was like in the draft, I was able to hit about 65 miles per hour. When I got out of the draft, it dropped down to about 60. 60 is about the top speed in fifth gear. So just so you know, yeah, that's kind of what you got. It's you're not screaming past cars. I gotta run back here. Okay, he's got me. Show him a little wristband. But yeah, so that's top speed. I will say, when you're doing that all wide open throttle, you probably will be hurting your fuel mileage. But yeah, you'll be having some fun. Maybe some new mirrors. These are just like, I don't know. You don't need them. They work, but yeah, they just look old school Honda. Honda's always been really good about carrying over parts from one model to the next, and I think that's a thing that helps them. It helps them keep price down, but it's also kind of cool because if you need new parts, you could just yeah, generally they got them on hand because it's like fits a bunch of different bikes, so dealerships are going to keep them in stock and things like that. So that's basically. I wish I could keep talking to you guys because I could ramble on about mini motos all day. But yeah, there's in terms of the Grom, if that's what you came here to learn about and see, there's not so much to talk about. Yeah, just it's part about the culture and all that, right? It's so much about the feel, and unfortunately, you kind of almost have to be on one. You kind of got to experience it to understand and appreciate that. So yeah, if you do get a chance to jump on one and try it out, you really should if you haven't yet. I mean, the bike's been around since 2014, so hopefully maybe you have already, but you absolutely should if you haven't. I think once you throw a leg over one and go rip around for a little bit, you'll realize why the things are so popular and so successful. It is Honda's most successful street bike. For a little bit, the Navi was taken over on that, but yeah, the Grom took back that #1 spot. So we're just rolling back into the paddock here at Barber. I'm going to cruise up to the Honda truck. It is still raining, so I'm going to try to dry off. But yeah, hey, thanks for coming along for the ride for this little 2025 Honda Grom. It's nice to get to go for a little loop outside of Barber Motorsports Park in Experience, Alabama, albeit a very wet Alabama right now. Park this thing, and yeah, appreciate you guys tuning into the video. There will be a review and some stories on the 2025 Grom at cycleworld.com, so be sure to check that out. And yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. All right, we'll see ya.